Yo, what's up everybody? It's Aaron back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to be revealing to you undeniable proof of the new most effective way that you should be running your 3-day or 5-day challenges. And the reason why I want to start off with proof first and then jump into the information is because there's countless noise and fluff in the market. And honestly, nobody's talking about this strategy right now, but it's about to get real popular. But I want to share with you the proof so that we can actually understand that the information that I'm breaking down flat out works and flat out gets results. Now, you may be somebody that doesn't currently know what challenges are, or you've never heard of them, but they're growing in popularity. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a challenge is just a virtual event, which is very similar to a seminar. It's not new. It sounds new. It has a new name. It has new languaging, but I'm going to be revealing to you exactly what it is. I'm going to be sharing with you the truth about challenges, so ultimately you can understand how to make more money with your challenges. And I'm also going to be introducing, after the proof, the webinar to challenge model, which is a game changer. Let's jump right in. All right, so like I said, first things first, I'm going to jump into some undeniable proof so that way you can really understand that this webinar to challenge strategy that I'm going to be breaking down to you actually works and actually generates results. So first things first, let's head over to Clickfunnels. I do want to point out, I'm going to be explaining some stuff as I actually share this data, but once I go back into the slides, I'm going to, break everything down. So some of it may be a little bit redundant, but I just want to give you full transparency on what we're doing here and share with you that it actually works. So right here, we got dates on June 12th to July 23rd. I'm going to refresh so that way we understand that this is all authentic here. Like I mentioned, a challenge is basically a virtual event, which is no different than a seminar. Well, if you're buying tickets to a seminar, or if you're going to a seminar, what do you have to do? You have to buy tickets. Same thing applies for challenges. It's just virtual. So you see here, we got 3 different tiers of tickets we sold. We got platinum, VIP, general admission, and we see totally collectively across all those three different options, we sold $503,000. Basically, when it comes to selling these tickets, we have to, there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can go direct to checkout, which is directly to a sales page, or if you really want to scale and use this new strategy that I'm talking about, you're actually going to run ads to a webinar and then you're going to sell the tickets on the webinar. That's how you get new people into the ecosystem, because right now, most people aren't, nobody's really talking about this. People are only running challenges to their email list, to their warm audiences. They're not even getting new eyeballs or new traffic into the ecosystem. My number one formula that you may have heard me say already is traffic plus conversions equals cash. So why would somebody actually run one of these without running any traffic? There's people who tell you to run these without running ads, and they actually tell you don't need ads. You don't got to worry about running ads with this. If somebody says that, it doesn't even make sense. If something actually works, you want to add fuel to the fire, because at the end of the day, traffic plus conversions equals cash. So here, I want to show you this how much we made. Now, everybody always wants to know how much we spent with things like this. So I'm about to go into High Roads and I'm about to actually show how much we spent on Facebook ads to drive all of these leads and ultimately all of these sales right here. So let's go over to High Roads. And I do want to point out that with the challenge, you're not really focused on making a bunch of money on the front end. The objective is to sell tickets. And then we understand our average conversion rate. What was the dates? 6/12. Over here, 23rd. We understand our average conversion rates of the actual challenge, so we just do the math. We understand that, let's say if we get 1,000 people to come to our challenge, and we understand the average conversion rate of challenges, if they're done right and you have a great experience, is 20% of those people. So let's say if we had a $10,000 offer and we're like, you know what, we want to convert 200 people, we're going to convert 150 people. If our number is 150 people that we want to convert, we figure out how many challenge tickets that we need to sell. We understand our show rates of the challenge is super high, but dang near 100%. I honestly haven't really seen it below 95%, because when people buy, this is a paid event. You can do hybrid challenges where it's kind of free and paid, but in this scenario that I'm breaking down, it was a paid event. People are going to show up. Now it's a matter of understanding our average conversion rate. So if we wanted to convert 150 people, then it's okay, cool, we got to have a 15% conversion rate, but our average conversion rate is 20%. So you see how you can do the math to where you can understand how much money that you can lose on the front end, because on the back end you're selling a high ticket. But in this case, we actually spent $461,000 and we did better than break even. We made money on the front end, $503,000 worth of tickets sold from our platinum, VIP, and general admission. Now, I want to point out something here. We see $461,000 spent. We see our dates. I'm not sure if I did a refresh on High Roads. Let me go ahead and do that. It's probably going to change me up and make me have to put in the dates again. Yeah, okay, let me put the dates in again here. I just want to do full transparency so we understand everything right here is legit. So let me get these dates pulled back up. 6/12, 23rd. I couldn't remember if I did a refresh. So we got 47,000 leads from Facebook, and then we got a total of 58,000 leads that came through the ecosystem at this time. This goes to show you right here that look how much volume we can actually drive from Facebook. Like this was like, you got podcast marketing, you got other people's audiences, you got influencer marketing, you got email lists. There's different ways that you can still sell your challenge tickets and market, but the bulk of the volume that we drove to the actual webinars that actually sold the tickets was through Facebook ads, right? So you got to be running ads. Like that's why this way right here that not a lot of people are talking about, it's so good, because now you can target down to actually make sure that you're optimizing and targeting. And we did this over the course of about 7 to 8 webinars, and we actually were able to do a lot of testing beforehand, running webinars on the front end beforehand. So then it's like, now we come to the challenge, we already got our data optimized, we already know our average cost per lead, we already know our average conversion rate on the webinar, we already know all of our data. So then at that point, it's just math. How many tickets do we have to sell, and how much money do we want to make on the front end based around our offer? And then we just spend based around that, right? Now, this says 808,000 because there were some other things that were being sold, like internally to the list that was already that already existed. We already got sequences and funnel flows and automations and downsells and things of that nature that already was happening for this business that we just didn't want to put on pause. But on the front end, front facing, this was all about marketing to the webinar to ultimately lead up to the 5-day event, the 5-day challenge, right? Now, once you get to the challenge, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this one. I just wanted to really expose you to first selling tickets. Then I'm going to go back into the slides and explain some stuff. But once we actually got to the challenge right here, full transparency, July 24th to July 31st, we see right now so far we've got $663,000 worth of cash collected, deposits. But there's a lot of times with the challenges, you have your funding, you have your payment plans, you have all kinds of different options from a payment standpoint. But just to get that first commitment, you want to get a deposit down, a $2,000 deposit. And then depending on what options you have, usually about 60 to 80% of those people, let's say you had a 10K offer or 15K offer, you put down a payment of $2,000, 60 to 80% are usually going to pay that remaining $13,000. So again, these are just more KPIs and frameworks that we've been seeing, or KPIs and numbers that we can go off that we've been seeing that we can make decisions off of to really understand the math on the front end so we can best projection and forecast, how much money we're going to make out of this. So far we got cash collected, $663,000. There's definitely more money that's coming in and more funding and more payment plans. But this is it. I just wanted to show you full transparency. So let's get ready to jump back into the slides so I can break down more about this challenge business model, or this challenge selling mechanism. Challenges, virtual events, webinars, etc. Let's jump into how you can scale your income using challenges. And by the way, I just want to make it clear that whenever I was going through that data, you understand that that's going to be well over $1 million in terms of a launch that happened over the course of the 5 days during that challenge. And that's not even including the $500,000 we made on the front end. Like we already got about $650,000 cash collected. That cash collected is just from deposits. So even if the lowest number of terms of people who actually come in make their payment completion for the remaining balance, which is going to happen, that's how it goes, is we're going to be over 1.5 on the low side, 2.5 to 3 million on the high side. Like I said, 60 to 80% are going to complete their payments. Now, introducing the model. I already broke this down. I just want to reiterate right here because I'm about to go slide by slide. What is the difference between a webinar and a challenge? So think of it this way. A webinar can be used with this new way that I'm breaking down. A webinar can be used to sell the tickets on the challenge, right? But the difference between the actual experience and the actual event from a webinar to challenge is that webinar, you're going to be selling anywhere between the $997 to $1997 price point. I think that that's vital, and I think that's very important to have. But with the challenge, you're going to be like, perfect world sweet spot is like that 7,500 price point. But like I said, you can go higher. You can go 10K, 20K, 50K. The higher you go up, that's going to just lower your conversion rate. And then right now, and you want to be mindful of current economic times. So if you're in between that 7,500, really the 15K price range, like you're sweet. I prefer having, I want the volume to be as much as possible. So I prefer really like 7,500 to 10K. But basically, as you go through the challenge, think of a webinar. Let's say that your webinar that you usually do for a weekly webinar was the 5 steps to do X, Y, and Z, right? You can literally take your 5 steps and break them down into the 5 days. However, you may be wondering, well, if I do that, what webinar am I going to use to sell the tickets? The key here is you're going to actually change the framing of your webinar that you use to sell the tickets. You're going to change your framing to the What's Working Now webinar. So it's no longer going to be the 5 steps. This is going to be what's working now in your market, and you're going to frame your webinar or in your business opportunity, wherever it is, whatever niche you're in, you're going to frame that as the What's Working Now webinar. You're going to educate around what's working now. And you're going to really talk about the old way things are being done, and you're going to introduce the new way things are being done with your What's Working Now webinar. And then from there, once you sell your tickets, you're going to be leading with the platinum first, right? You're going to lead with the platinum first, and you're downselling your webinar as the general admission and VIP. And basically, you're literally getting to the end of that webinar after somebody gets to spend 2 hours with you on that actual webinar. They already trust you. They already had a good time. They already had a great experience with you. You're going to offer them basically 5 additional days of mentoring. How many people would be interested to spend 5 days with me? Was the 2 hours that we just spent together on tonight's call valuable? Type a yes in the chat. Like, you're literally going to have all the framing that you need right there already done to where you can just go right into selling platinum. Boom. So that's the difference right there in terms of just how we can use and how we can structure the webinar and the challenge. But once we actually come into the challenge, think of it as a seminar. It's all about the experience. It's all about transformation. You're given a ton of game. It's got all kinds of different components baked into it to where people are learning a ton, and they're getting the mindset. They're getting the gems. They're getting help with all types of stuff to really at the end of that 5-day challenge, they can go do it without you if they didn't want to join your mastermind or your done for you offer, whatever your offer is. Your offer needs to be super irresistible, which I'm not going to talk a lot about offers here in this, but basically that's like the difference, and that's the intro to the model. So I hope we're clear there. Now let's go over the goal of the challenge. The goal is to ultimately build trust, create transformation, and make as much money as possible and really sell a high volume of your mid to high ticket offer. Because my way that I run whenever I build out information marketing based businesses, I always want to have a webinar offer. I always want to have a weekly webinar because that's our feeder offer. And then, you can go watch my other video where I break down like how you use the feeder offer, and you go into the whole back-end system and all the strategies with that. Like, you still want to have all of that. Like, that all is something that's gonna be put in place. But one of the things that we're starting to do is we're gonna start to run these challenges like really as frequently as we can, and maybe once a quarter, and maybe once every 2 months, just kind of depends. But basically, we have our weekly webinar that's coming in where people are coming into the ecosystem, and we have our challenge where our goal with the challenge is to every 2 to 3 months we come in and we do a big launch basically of our mid to high ticket offer, so we can just get a bunch more people into the ecosystem. But keep in mind, we already have people coming into the ecosystem to our mid to high ticket offer through the full build out that I've already showed with the actual webinar and our feeder offer. So that's pretty much what's going on with the challenge. Like, literally the 5 days should be transformational. You should have a lot of game in there, a lot of gems. And think of it as you can have guest speakers, you can have co-hosts, you can have DJs, it's all about the experience and what you best can fulfill on and what you best can deliver. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're building trust, because the people who, like, that's why I love just this live virtual event. And I don't really, I focus on a virtual event at the end of the day, and not necessarily like webinar, challenge, workshop, masterclass, boot camp, sprints. There's so many different names. There's so much languaging. This is literally like 1 day virtual event versus 5 day virtual event. All of them are live, and all of them do what? They build trust. Of course, the longer ones can build a bigger transformation. So we're going to ask for more money, right? Versus a shorter 2-hour webinar. It's going to build transformation, but not as much transformation. So we're going to ask for less money. Like, that's all it is to it, right? So that brings me to the next thing. Can anybody run one? One of the reasons why this is the most effective way to actually run your challenges is because this opens you up to my formula. Traffic plus conversions equals cash. Anybody can run one. There's companies in the market right now that they offer, full done for you challenges where they, build everything out for you. They set up everything that needs to be done. They set the strategy, the system up, so then that way you can actually go and just worry about presenting as the actual host for the challenge, or the educator, the guru, the one with specialized knowledge. But the thing about it is there's some people in the market that they don't do the traffic piece. They just sell to your existing audience. Like, let's say you already built an email list of 20,000 people. You already got 20,000 followers. You got 50,000 followers. Whatever you have, you already have an audience. There's companies that come in and they basically run your challenge for you, and it'll just be based around your audience that you already have. Well, like, that's not scalable. How many times can you, if you don't have more, remember, traffic plus conversions equals cash. If you don't have more traffic coming into your ecosystem, you're going to only be able to focus on converting the current people who's in your ecosystem. But if you have traffic, now you have, it's scalable. It's scalable, right? So yes, anybody can run one of these, but the thing is, you have to run ads. Well, you don't want to run ads directly to a sales page, because simply going cold traffic, I don't know you at all, I'm a stranger, I clicked on your ad, I go to a sales page, I see 3 different options to come to your virtual event, that's not enough. What did you do to convince me to buy? That's why we go ad, webinar registration, and then that comes to the webinar, and then that's where we sell the challenge tickets. That's how you can get mass volume. If you really want to actually, depending on, you know, what your goal is, what your desire is, you know, you want to sell 100 tickets, you want to sell 200, 500, 1,000 tickets, like, you have to do that through the webinar to challenge model, like I just shared with you, because you're not going to have a high conversion rate going straight to sales page, and then your audience, maybe you can run your first challenge off of your warm audience, maybe your second challenge, but that's gonna die down. And at the same time, you don't want to just be burning down your list, burning down your audience just to run these challenges. Yeah, you're gonna market to your list. You should always be marketing to your list. Buy or die, or buy or unsubscribe. I'm all for that, but you have to have new traffic, new eyeballs coming into your ecosystem. If you get more eyeballs on your offers, you're gonna make more money, point blank, period. So you can run a challenge, but you just gotta also, you know, have some traffic in the mix. If you don't have traffic in the mix, and you're let's say if you don't even have an audience and you're just getting started, that completely wipes you out of it if you're not doing this new strategy that I'm talking about, where you do webinar challenge. So that's that. Now, coming down to this live webinar to ticket, I've already broke it down. Essentially what we're doing, we got the live webinar, we get them on the webinar, we have 3 options. We have general, VIP, and platinum. The thing is, we want to lead with platinum. We're only focused on our whole build up, we're focused on platinum. We're focused on selling our highest price point package, because those are also going to be our highest converting customers that actually take our high ticket offer, because they're going to get all the bonuses, they're going to get all the perks, they're going to get all the different incentives that make them be platinum. You know, platinum is the highest ticket tier. Now, after you do all of that, your downsell that we do in the webinar is still going to be VIP and general admission. So that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any more questions about how we do this, don't hesitate to drop a comment in the chat. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this. I'm going to make more videos. I'm going to be breaking down more stuff. And if you're interested in running a challenge, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at AaronBall30, AaronBall30. Just DM me the word webinar to challenge. I would love to help you scale your challenge through this strategy that we do to ultimately generate the best results. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in future videos. Peace.